In our 2024 lead, some absolutely stunning remarks made by the Republican nominee for president over the weekend, bringing this nation's history of campaign rhetoric, even the particular field of harsh attacks, into a whole new territory.
So here's the question. Jake Tapper from CNN is going after Trump and his thousands and thousands of lies, which as a journalist is tricky. Journalists are supposed to be fair.
It's not fair.
They're supposed to present a story without coloring it with their personal feelings or experiences. As Voltaire once wrote, if you see an adjective, kill it. But here's the problem. We have a former president, sociopath, psychopath, serial sex offender.
Trump is a sexual predator.
Who will lie about anything. And for the record, I'm not a journalist. I'm kind of an asshole. But that frees me to tell the truth. And the truth is this. We're in trouble.
She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her.
That is Jesse Waters from Fox News. He's a journalistic herpes sore who is not only incapable of telling the truth, but he revels in it.
Now, I don't see why any man would vote Democrat. It's not the party of virtue, security. It's not the party of strength. It's definitely not the party of family. And to be a man and then vote for a woman just because she's a woman is either childish, that person has mommy issues, or they're just trying to be accepted by other women. And I heard the scientists say the other day that when a man votes for a woman, he actually transitions into a woman.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, that's what the science says.
Science says that.
Now, like me, though, he's not a journalist. Same for Thumbface and Tucker.
They lie. We all know that.
But unlike me, they're multimillionaires, bought and paid for by Rupert Murdoch. And every opinion they offer is crafted not to upset tiny fingers.
The 2020 presidential election was not fair. No honest person would claim that it was fair.
And they have tens of millions of people watching them every night, none of whom have ever heard a negative story about this pustulant skin tag. And that is dangerous. In fact, every time Fox News shows a journalistic pulse, poof, they're gone. From Shepard Smith to Chris Wallace, adios. And the only reason they fired Tucker is he cost them $1 billion in the Smartmatic lawsuit. Now he funnels the same Trump lunacy to his own network of insane shitbirds.
You know they eat babies.
And back to Jake Tapper. As you're about to see, Jake doesn't pull punches and shares his dark vision that is Donald Trump.
It was last week when Republicans said they were offended because Democrats were saying Trump was a threat to democracy. But all of that notwithstanding, here is Mr. Trump Saturday in Wisconsin.
Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born that way. And if you think about it, only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country. Anybody would know this.
Trump might have actually realized during his Wisconsin speech that he was dragging campaign rhetoric into a whole new place because he himself commented, quote, "This is a dark speech." And the next day, in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Mr. Trump dimmed the lights again.
Crooked Joe Biden became mentally impaired, sad. But lying Kamala Harris, honestly, I believe she was born that way. There's something wrong with Kamala. And I just don't know what it is, but there is definitely something missing.
Perhaps even more alarming is the terrifying image Mr. Trump is painting of migrants. He misreported a recent report from ICE, which is Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, claiming that Biden and Harris allowed 13,099 convicted murderers to walk freely in the United States. That is a lie. This list is over decades, so it includes killers that Trump let in. And as a point of fact, many of these individuals are currently in federal, state, or local prisons where they belong. And yet, Mr. Trump is now campaigning on this falsehood, fueling fear.
They make our criminals look like babies. These are stone-cold killers. They'll walk into your kitchen, they'll cut your throat.
They'll walk into your kitchen and cut your throat. Again and again. And beyond individual criminals walking into kitchens and cutting throats, Mr. Trump using stark and ugly language that evokes, frankly, some of the worst anti-immigrant rhetoric in this nation's history, also said this.
You got to get these people back where they came from. You have no choice. You're going to lose your culture. You're going to lose your country. You're going to have crime, the likes of which nobody has ever seen before.
In addition to pushing mass deportations of millions of people, including those with otherwise clean and productive records. At one point, Mr. Trump even proposed something that sounded pretty dystopian in order to cut down on shoplifting and theft.
All these stores go out of business, right? They don't pay rent. The city doesn't have money. It's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately.
I mean, just trying to explain that, is he suggesting that there be 1 hour where police are allowed to use excessive force on looters and shoplifters? By the way, this footnote on that topic, new FBI statistics released today show that crime is dropping in the first 6 months of this year compared to the same point last year. From January to June, murders dropped 23%, reported rapes down 18%, robberies fell 14%, aggravated assaults down 8%. Be that as it may, Mr. Trump remains fixated on crime. Even imaginary crimes, such as the rampant election fraud that did not happen in 2020, that he says, without evidence or fact, is happening right now, again. And he is saying that just as he plans to free the criminals who attacked the Capitol on January 6, 2021, he will prosecute the alleged offenders of these non-existent crimes that did not happen in that election, and as far as we can tell, are not happening in this one.
And I told him, if we win and when we win, we're going to prosecute people that cheat on this election. And if we can, we'll go back to the last one, too, if we're allowed.
Trump keeps pushing new election lies. There are 12, according to CNN's resident fact checker Daniel Dale and our justice reporter Marshall Cohen, 12 new ones. Just some of those claims. He's falsely saying that Kamala Harris can only win through cheating. That's not true. It's a neck-and-neck race. Either one of them could win it. He's falsely saying it was unconstitutional for the Democrats to replace Joe Biden with Kamala Harris. The Constitution has nothing to do with party nominations. He's falsely saying voting by non-citizens is a widespread problem in U.S. elections. I'm sure that is any non-citizen voting is a problem, but widespread, there's no statistics indicating it's a widespread problem. He's falsely saying there's no identity verification for overseas and military voters. It's not true. You can read all 12 of them for yourself at CNN.com. I posted them on Twitter or X at Jake Tapper. So make no mistake, Mr. Trump says these things and he means them. And he has at least a 50-50 chance of being president. We should be paying attention to what he says.
So here's the question. Can a journalist call you a liar?
Have already become hellholes, a crime-ridden, gang-infested, terror-filled dumping ground, bloodshed, chaos, and violent crime. A deluge of illegals pouring in by the millions and millions. Drug dealers, human traffickers, bloodthirsty terrorists, savage gang members, pedophiles, stone-cold killers. You can't walk across the street to get a loaf of bread, you get shot. Teenagers cut to shreds. They'll walk into your kitchen, they'll cut your throat.
Some people compare Fox to MSNBC, but there's a difference. MSNBC is honest about who they are, and they have dissenting voices. But most importantly, they're really smart people with news reporting backgrounds. Now, take Fox. When Trump told Laura Ingraham that he blocked the border bill because it would have been bad for him, Ingraham said nothing.
What the hell do you have to lose, right?
And when people count on you, believe that you will tell them the truth, an omission is tantamount to a lie.
Just like that honesty of Donald Trump. He tells it like it is.
A man of his word.
He's a truth teller.
When I was a kid, my mom taught me to respect adults, but my dad was a cop and my mom worked in the U.S. District Attorney's Office, so they slightly amended that rule when it came to my personal safety. If an adult told me to go with them or to get into a car, I was told to say no, and if they tried to grab me, I was told to fight back, and they taught me how. As president, Trump lied 30,000 times in his first 4 years. That is a number that belies belief. And how do you report that? And when Fox News ignores it entirely, and the result is tens of millions of Fox News Americans believe you are the liar, well, that's the problem. Jake Tapper is sounding the alarm. He's yelling fire in a crowded theater, which is not okay, unless, of course, there really is a fire.
Goddamn right. I don't want to talk about this stuff.
I'm ready. Let's go.
It's not fair.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
Who's with me?
Am I wrong?
Yes.
Tick-tock.
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.